What I want to talk about today is the conflict between Ali and Aisha. I'm just going to start with. I just want to start off by clarifying that we as Sunnis do not believe that Aisha was correct in her decision, right? I mean, especially all you have to do is look at uh, the hadiths, which clearly say right here from Ammar bin Yasir, right here. It's in Bukhari as well. I know that she is the wife of the Prophet in this world and in the hereafter. But Allah has put you to the test whether you follow Allah or her. Right? That's pretty clear right there that she's doing something wrong. What we believe differently from the Shias is that in the end she is forgiven, right? That she made a mistake, but Allah forgives her and she's still a Muslim and whatnot. And you could see it right here. She is the wife of the Prophet and in the hereafter, right? And this is from Ammar bin Yasir, a very important companion. Even the Shias actually have a good opinion of him, which is pretty rare for them to have a good opinion of a companion. Shia Muslims, he is referred to by the Shia Muslims as one of the four companions, right? One of the four great companions. That's from Ammar bin Yasir. Now, I want to go into what I want to show you is the neutral sources, okay? So let's analyze it, right? So this is Tariq al-Tabari. Now, Shias actually accuse the Tabari of being Shia, right? So let me explain something to you. We have to understand that Shiasm early on was a political movement. It just meant that you believed that somebody from Ahl Bayt should be the leader of the Muslims. It didn't have all this, Aqidah stuff added to it where, they're infallible and they're basically like prophets, right? Nobody believed that. And so you'll see, for example, Abu Hanifa supported the cause of Zayd ibn Ali, the Alid Zaydi Imams, right? So even he's from our Sunnis, right? We consider Abu Hanifa Sunni, but he supported the political movement of the Shia, Zayd ibn Ali. You also find Shafi, who was appointed as the governor of Yemen, and he was accused of aiding the Alids in a revolt. Alids are like the people who are trying to put somebody who's a descendant of Ali into power, right? So we don't have a problem with the idea of somebody being a political Shia, right? And you find in the books of Tabari, what I want to use is what I consider to be neutral sources. I mean, Shias love to use Tabari's history against Sunnis, right? So it sounds like they're okay with the book. So let's see what it says between Ali and Aisha after the battle ended, right? Of course, she was wrong during the battle, but what about in the end? So here it is. Ali equipped Aisha with everything she needed, the riding beasts, and he tried to send her back. Now, to help her out. And now, here's the important part. She said to them, my sons, right? Because we're all the sons of Aisha in some way. Some of us criticize others of us, saying that they were slow or excessive. But don't let any of you hold it against any others over anything you might hear about this. By Allah, there was never anything in the past between me and Ali other than what usually happens between a woman and her male in-laws. In my opinion, he has shown himself to be one of the best of men, despite my criticism. By Allah, men, replied Ali, she has spoken the truth and nothing but the truth. That was all there was between us. She is the wife of the Prophet, now and forever. Forever meaning in the afterlife, right? So this is what Ali believes. And we can go back further and find something more interesting. Let's see if I can find it. And here's Ammar bin Yasir again, right? The guy who was one of the four favorite companions of Shiaz, right? He finds Aisha. He said to Aisha, Mother of the Faithful, how far this march is from the pact that we made with you? She replied, yes. By Allah, as I always knew, you're a great speaker of the truth. Praise be Allah, he replied, who has judged in my favor by your tongue. So, she seems to reconciliate with both Ammar bin Yasir and Ali, right? And we can actually go into another source which I consider to be neutral, and I'll show you why you should consider it to be neutral. And it's actually the hadith book of Tirmidhi, right? So once again, Ammar bin Yasir, right? A man spoke negatively of Aisha before Ammar bin Yasir, and he replied, and this is during the war, be gone as one despicable and rejected. Do you insult the beloved of the Messenger of Allah? Right? This is from Ammar bin Yasir, once again, the guy I keep showing you. Very important. And let's analyze this for a second. Jami al-Tirmidhi, right? Shias will say, oh, that's a Sunni book. But, I've actually met a Shia who told me that this is probably the most, to him, the most authentic Sunni book. Now, forget about him for a second. I'll show you that this book is not anti-Ahlul Bayt or anti-Shia or anything like that. So these are some of the hadiths found in Tirmidhi's book. This is the most important one, actually. But I'll start with this one. Ali is from me, and I am from Ali, and no one should represent me except me or Ali, myself or Ali. Very important, actually, this hadith, right? For him to put it in his book. I am the house of wisdom, and Ali is its door. That's in the books of At-Tirmidhi. You find here, if you hold fast to it, you will never go astray. The book of Allah and my family, the people of my house. This is actually the only Sunni hadith that specifically, explicitly says that the people of the house are part of the things that should never go astray, that should prevent you from ever going astray. The other versions will say, oh, the Quran is the rope of Allah, da da da, and then it'll say, oh, but take care of my family, but it doesn't indicate that the family is part of one of the things that prevent us from going astray. But you find it only in At-Tirmidhi. So I think beyond any doubt, At-Tirmidhi is not a biased source, in my opinion. And you have to understand, once again, that all of the hadith books, pretty much all of the later ones were, especially particularly this one as well, was collected during the time of the Abbasids. And these are Persians collecting it. They have no pro-Umayyad bias. They don't like the Umayyads. This is the time where the Umayyads didn't exist anymore. It was the time of the Abbasids. So Abbasids have, in fact, At-Tirmidhi, I believe, lived in the time of Ma'mun, who people say is a Shia. Historians believe that he was a Shia. So there's no reason for this to be a biased book towards, the Umayyads or anything like that. And I've shown you that it quite clearly isn't. So for him to put this hadith in here, where Ammar bin Yasir says, we shouldn't insult her, right, Aisha, and that in the end, she's forgiven, right? And that's what Ammar bin Yasir, Ali forgave her, and you find Ammar bin Yasir believes that she is the wife of the Prophet in the afterlife. Oh, another thing I put here is that Imam Malik also narrates 16 hadiths through Ja'far bin Muhammad, an Ahlul Bayt member, right? So we don't have this hatred towards them that the Shias like to claim we do. Yeah, I think that's about it. Thank you.